Okay, look out. Okay, in contrast to the one we just talked about, the problem I just talked about, in my opinion, has a priority of about 0.1 points. Here's why. I've never seen it ever again. So how, what are the odds I'm going to see something like that? Very, very low. If I do not feel any shame in just moving on. I can just throw it away. By comparison, problem 25. Okay, the concepts you must know to get the point for 25, those concepts will show up every single year on the AP test, every single year on multiple questions. So comparing the two, that previous problem back here, 23? Yeah. 23, we're going to get a priority of 0.1. Okay, 0.1 points. This one here, I would say realistically, if you know the concepts needed to solve this, you're opening the door to maybe earn somewhere between 15 to 20 points. Okay? That means this problem is 150 times more important than the other. Have I made my point? Okay. So here we go. It says find the derivatives, so I do. That's going to require the product rule, so that's the second times the derivative of the first plus the first times the derivative of the second. Whenever I have subtraction, I want to be a little careful, but the derivative of 3x is just 3, so that went quick. The derivative of y cubed is going to be 3y squared dy dx. The derivative of 3 alone is 0. Questions? Oh, gotcha. Just a mistake. I'll finish for the video. So this is going to be 2xy plus x squared y prime minus 3 equals 3y squared y prime. Now I solve for y prime, so I'm going to get 3y squared y prime plus x squared y prime is equal to 3 subtract 2xy. You want to talk about any of it. Cool. So factor in y prime. Divide. Like that. Please.
Would the 3y squared y prime be negative since you moved it over to the other side?
How many saw the error? 2 points, 3 for down. Question? Please.
Okay, so
Not another mistake.
Oh no. So since you're trying to find y prime at a certain point, -1, 2, could you at any point after you've done the derivative of it, could you plug those numbers in and then solve it for y prime?
Once you're finished using the derivative rules, you can absolutely plug in the values they gave you. It does make the problem actually quicker and easier. So at this point, I could have taken this line because I'm no longer using any derivative rules, and I can replace all of the x's and y's with the -1 and 2. Completely valid way to solve the problem, really good way to solve the problem. In class, I always do this because I'm trying to prep you for AP problems where they ask for dy dx instead of they ask for the formula.
Oh, okay.
And so I feel like it's useful to keep doing that just so you get better and better prepared. In fact, I'd recommend that you do that as well when you're practicing. So you're practicing for the problems that are slightly more difficult. But you're spot on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
2 points. Anybody else? Cool. So now, we just plug it in.
Okay, so make sure you're paying attention. Our set for negative data, we really want to go to zero. So I assume this back, and it's just start right here. If it's really not showing us this already data, this one is back to right, read that. And then it says it's going to go from negative to 5. 5. Did it, 0, and there it is. It's a little bit different here, yeah. It's flipped upside down. The other one was negative.
Okay, questions for the whole room? Please raise your hand and I'll pay you. What does negative 7/11 represent? I keep telling you all year long, you have to know what the symbols mean, you have to know what the numbers mean. Otherwise the AP test is a disaster. Like, you have to know the meaning. What does negative 7/11 represent?
Okay, yeah, the giant spiral.
Let's go Sarah.
So,
And the slope of what?
your slope
This one's a little hard to say what it is the slope of, and that's why I asked. Like always on the board, 2 for Sarah, look. He goes back to what I do over and over again. This problem, like many AP problems, can be thought of as an amount and a rate. Meaning this is an equation, this is an equation. Raise your hand if you know what equation belongs in the amount column. Hands up. What equation belongs in the amount column?
the x squared y minus 3x equals y cubed minus 3.
Please raise your hand if you knew that. Point, 2 for Adam. Okay, look. Somehow in math education we have a big problem. We teach all of you from when you're really young that equal means this thing becomes this thing. Fair? It's like you plug in something, you get something out. To me that's the wrong way to think of it. It's not the most powerful way to think of it. The way you should be thinking of it is the equation is just a relationship. It shows how x and y relate. Therefore, use it however you want to use it. Plug in an x, find a y, plug in a y, find an x. So this is definitely the equation for finding the amount. Hands up, what's the equation for finding the rate, which means tangent slope, which means differential equation, which means on and on and on. It's this thing over here again. Like what belongs in this column in this problem? Hands up, come on. Mark?
dy dx.
Yeah. How many knew it? Point, 2 for Marcus. Okay, it's exactly what I talked about at the start of this thing over here. This, right here, that's a differential equation. This is a differential equation. You find the solution to this differential equation, you will find this equation. Please.
Since the rate is dy over dx, could you call the amount equation the equation y, since that's what you're finding there?
Yeah, it's not rearranged.
Yeah.
It would take more math than I know to get the y alone. But if we could, this is the equation for the amount. And this is the solution to this differential equation. Yep, 220. Cool. Anybody else? Please.
16.
16?